4:25 Eastern, you know where to be. It's the NFL on CBS from coast to coast. The best teams in football going to be featured right here on this schedule. Taking a look at some of those featured festivities. Week 1, a Super Bowl 52 rematch between the Eagles and the Patriots. Get a little Rodgers-McCarthy action in Week 2, but it is a cornucopia of football frenzy. Some of the best teams, some of the best games going down on that air, the NFL on CBS. And for more, we welcome in the leading voice of the NFL on CBS, Jim Nantz, joining us for some reaction here on schedule release day. It is both game menu and travel log for our Jim Nantz here. I'm sure excited to know where you will be when. But you take a look at some of those games. You assess the schedule, your work schedule specifically here. Where do your eyes go first?
I think the first thing I noticed, first of all, thank you for having me on here. I'm very excited about our schedule. And as you kind of broke it out there, the key is that 425 window. Those are the national windows, and those are the most watched, most highest rated windows in the NFL. It's not something that happens in prime time. It's Sunday late afternoon. And it's a blockbuster lineup. I think the first thing that I see, though, is the plethora of Kansas City appearances at 425 on our air. It's like we completely took over Arrowhead Stadium. Just in December alone, we have the Chiefs against Buffalo, which will be a big national game. You know what's happened the last couple of years on that. And then you have the Chiefs against the Raiders on Christmas Day, which will be the first game of the Christmas Day lineup. It's a divisional game. It will have importance no matter what happens. And then, of course, you have on New Year's Eve day, we have Patrick and the Chiefs taking on Cincinnati. It's the rematch of the AFC Championship game each of the last 2 years, games that have come down to a field goal. It's a blockbuster schedule. The only thing we have to be assured of is that Patrick stays, as you see him right now, on his feet. So as long as we can keep Patrick healthy, it is a month, I would say, that ranks up there with the best we've ever had, because Kansas City is the team to beat. Kansas City is the biggest draw now because of this guy right here, number 15. And when you take into account that you have 3 blockbuster games in that month only for the Chiefs as we start nearing the playoff drive, it's huge. I don't know how it broke out this way. I'm elated. I'm thrilled. And it's, I think, our best schedule we've ever had.
It is must-see television there at watershed moment point of the season. And we're going to get our fill of KC barbecue, that I am sure. I want to stay there in Kansas City, Jim, because this is a team, they haven't lost by more than 4 points since, I believe, Week 7 of 2021. They've been in 5 consecutive AFC Championship games. You've played front row to this dynasty in the making, and I think it's fair to call them that at this point. What has been your major takeaway in watching Patrick Mahomes grow, in watching Andy Reid's story be told? To have front row to these types of moments, I know we're talking about the schedule and it's year by year, but the years they've stacked on top of one another have just been spectacular.
So well said. It's creativity, it's imagination, it's innovation, and it's talent, and it is the best of what the NFL represents. These games have been suspenseful. You never know exactly what Kansas City's going to do because Andy has a way of dialing up plays that no one else is able to even envision. And look, they are. Listen, I know there's that team a little bit south down in Dallas that is a huge draw, but the Chiefs, you said. I think you said that they're in the middle of a dynasty, whatever. They are definitely. You're right. Mm-hmm. They are in the middle of a dynasty, and this thing has legs, and it's going to go on for a while. And I think everyone that watches the NFL wants to know what Kansas City is doing. And going into this release day today, there were 2 games that I wanted. I have no role in this. Dan Weinberg, David Burson, Sean McManus. They live this when it comes to trying to stitch together a schedule. But if you ask me, the two games that I wanted the most were Cincinnati at Kansas City and Buffalo at Kansas City. I can recall being at the Masters tournament, and all of them were there. And I said, hey, how are we looking for those two games? And they said, well, we hope to get one of them. It would be a dream to get both of them. There's a lot of politicking that goes on, but we got them both. We got the two games that I think we wanted the most. I think the Jets-Dallas game is another primary game that was high on our hit list, taking the Jets on the road to Dallas, and now it falls in week 2, which will be Rodgers' first road game. Of course, Aaron and his history down in Dallas, where he won a Super Bowl and all those Green Bay-Dallas matchups, it's enormous, and it kind of goes that way throughout the season. There's a game on week 8 that I love, that I wasn't sure we were going to get. As we watch number 8, trying to get my mind around number 8 there and that fleet of receivers he has, the Jets are going to be exciting. We know that Wilson's going to be a star, by the way. But week 8, to have Cincinnati at San Francisco, these were the two teams that lost in their championship games. I think a lot of people thought they were capable of meeting in the Super Bowl. They each fell one game short. But to have Joe Burrow take on Shanahan and the 49ers, that is, of course, a matchup that's been twice played out in the Super Bowl. That's a blockbuster game that's on October the 29th. I kind of go through the whole schedule, and it feels like that. There's a Buffalo-Philadelphia game on Thanksgiving Sunday. Josh Allen against Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. If you asked me last year in December, I was wrong, but I thought Buffalo-Philadelphia was going to be the Super Bowl matchup. And now we're going to have that on Thanksgiving Sunday. A fantastic game. So, look, it's hard to make all your broadcast partners happy. It's a tough job, and it's examined, it's scrutinized, it's analyzed, it's thrown into a computer, and it spits out all these different versions of a schedule. But to try to keep all your broadcast partners happy, it's a difficult thing. I can't speak for the other networks. I've looked at the full schedule. They all should be happy, but I can tell you that our guys at CBS, our team at CBS that worked on this right in the heart of March Madness and during the Masters in April and all of that to the very end until today was revealed. I think they did one whale of a job. I would rank it, now I've only been around for 38 years. I would rank it as our best schedule we've ever had. So that's where I stand.
Well, there is reason for excitement when those words come out of your mouth. There's a lot of fans at home doing the same thing you're doing right now, going through the schedule, win-loss, and it sounds like we're undefeated at 425 here on CBS. They have to wait for the results. We're seeing the results right here in front of our eyes. The main results will come in Las Vegas, the final game of the season this year on CBS. Jim, I got to know, how does your year differ from one to another when it is a CBS Super Bowl year?
It's a great question. It's not many people would think to ask that question. I'm already in full Super Bowl mode. I know that sounds silly, but had there not been the screenwriters strike this week, Tony and I would have been in Los Angeles this week doing some Super Bowl prep and talking about our Super Bowl season before a large gathering there in California. It is different. I'm not going to kid you. It's almost like a countdown clock is in your head. And there's one thing I do want to see this season, and that is I'd like for our team, to get a game in Las Vegas. And I don't know where it's going to fall. It's not in the 425 window the way I see it right now, what's been doled out. But we have not done a game at Allegiant Stadium. Our crew, in other words, the Raiders have not been the primary game in the time since they moved to Las Vegas. And I would like for us as a crew to get familiarized with doing a game at that stadium and just getting accustomed to the sight lines. Far more importantly, for Jim Rickoff, our incredible producer, and our legendary director, Mike Arnold, who is now 40-plus seasons into this. And I think he's the most talented guy that there is in television today, in sports television. They need to get a game there. So I'm hoping that there is a chance to do that. But yes, we think about it all year long. We don't fear it. We're not getting anxious about it. It's just there's a buildup and an excitement. It'll be my 9th overall Super Bowl broadcast. And this is going to sound over the top. And I'm not one that's given to hyperbole, but you think about all the big events in the history of Las Vegas. And they've had prize fights, championship fights, this and that, but there is no event that's bigger than the Super Bowl. So if that's the case, and it is, and you know, it cannot be disputed that the Super Bowl is the mother of all events. This event on CBS, the Super Bowl, will be the biggest event in the history of Las Vegas. Now, think about that for a moment. There's never been a bigger event in Las Vegas than what's coming up this February on CBS. It's going to be a great honor to broadcast it, to showcase it. Who knows who's going to be playing in that game, but is it on my mind? Am I planning it out right now? You better believe it. And I'm just thrilled it falls on our watch.
It is Elvis and the Rat Pack, Celine Dion and Cirque du Soleil, all wrapped up into one. You got me going right now, Jim. I thought I was excited about the schedule. I cannot wait for this year in Las Vegas. It is always a privilege spending some time with you. Looking forward to spending the season with you as well on CBS, Jim.
Well, thank you so much, and keep doing the great job. That you know, we're all part of the same family, and we get to interface after our games and after our golf tournaments with our direct hits to CBS Sports HQ. And I see what you're doing. I'm awful proud of what you're doing. And
thank you.
We're all in this together. I hope we'll have a chance to cross paths in February out in Las Vegas.
You said you wanted to get your eyes on the stadium, maybe a little field trip. We'll find an off week. We'll talk to you soon, Jim.
Thank you very much.